Hi everybody, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Rachel and I'm so happy you're here. If you're new, welcome. This is my Flosstube where I talk about all of my cross stitch updates, sometimes some sewing or books or whatever other crafts I'm working on, but mostly cross stitch. Today is Sunday, June 25th, 2023, and this is Flosstube number 9. I cannot believe it's almost the end of June already and it's almost July. Summer is flying by, but I hope everyone's having a good summer so far. Hope the weather is good wherever you are and you're able to do some fun stuff. This weekend, Graham and I actually went up to Cincinnati and we saw the Noah Kahan concert, which was awesome. A nice little getaway. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from where we live in Lexington, so a nice little like I said, a nice little getaway without going too far, and that was really fun. And since we were in Cincinnati, I got to go back to Keepsakes, which was great, and I'll show you guys what I got at the end of the video. But first, I want to show you all of my WIP progress. I worked on almost every single WIP I have in the last 2 weeks since I've seen you guys. I was home for a long weekend last weekend, and I was like, this is it, I'm gonna touch everything, I'm gonna put stitches in everything, and I did. So I have lots to show you. They're all in their bags still just to keep them organized. And I think I showed these bags in the last video. I mentioned that I got just like cheap ones off Amazon, and they're working really well so far, other than they're getting so beat up by the cat, which is my own fault. I use them to distract her while I'm stitching. Some days she's been really good about just like sitting and watching or laying on the couch not interested, but other days she is all up in my business. She wants the floss, she wants the hoop, she wants all of it. So I do tend to use the little like zipper pulls and like my scissor fobs and stuff to distract her from chewing my actual stitching. So some of the corners are not having the best time, but you know, I'd rather her chew on the bag than chew on the project. So first up, we have Autumn and Stars Hollow. This is by the Black Needle Society, and this is what it looks like if you're not familiar with the pattern. This is going to be a 4-part series, and I'm stitching everything in one piece. This is the first piece that I'm stitching though, so it's the only thing on the fabric. And I was actually just working on this before I came up here to film. And I'm doing this on ivory 14 count Aida that I actually got at Keepsakes in December. Here's where we're at. We made a lot of progress since you last saw this. I think this entire side is new. So this entire like blue, and it says Copper Boom. That is all new since you guys last saw this piece. And I'm hoping the lighting is okay in here. I'm trying to see it on the viewfinder and make sure you guys can see everything. But it's hard to tell, so fingers crossed you can see the project's okay. I think this is like a little better example of what the colors look like. And then I just have my official Stars Hollow Troubadour needle minder on there. So yeah, this one's coming along really nice and I'm loving it so far. The only problem I'm having with this piece is my pattern is kind of falling apart a little bit. I accidentally folded this backwards when I first got it in December, and so the the one line of stitches that are on this crease like came separated from the, sorry, I'm not trying to show the pattern, came separated from the rest of the booklet. So when we get down a little farther, it's going to be tough to see what's going on in the pattern, but I think it'll be okay. Every time I work on this, I like check that row and make sure I can still read it, and I think it'll be okay. But we have a little while before we get there, so hopefully it's okay. All right, next we have the birdhouse piece. Again, if you're new, this is a piece that actually my grandma started, and I found it in my basement when I was moving a few weeks ago, or I guess a couple months ago now. And so this is, well, actually, I think I have pictures of the finished piece. Yeah. So this is the finished piece. It's a sunset. It was a kit, sunset kit, and it's called Birdhouse Garden. And it's number 13594 if you're looking it up. But this is the finished piece. Hopefully the glare is not too bad. It's gorgeous, lots of bright colors, and this is where the piece is at. I put some extra fabric on the top and bottom just because the margin is like non-existent. So here's the piece. Most of this was done already. I was focusing this past couple of weeks on these leaves in this corner. It's like all these leaves trailing down here. I put in, I think, a little bit over here, a little bit of shading against this blue birdhouse, and then also just filling in like a couple of stitches. There was like one part that I had to rip out and fix. But yeah, that's what I've been working on as far as birdhouses go. My grandma was marking the pattern off with a highlighter, so I was going in and double checking to make sure that everything she had highlighted had been stitched and everything she had stitched had been highlighted. Just because it's hard, you know, to jump in on someone else's work, so trying to get familiar with the piece, but it's coming out so cute and I absolutely love it. And I'm excited. I usually forget to sign my pieces or put my initials on, so this one I'm going to make sure that I put both of our initials on when I'm done. So here is Birdhouse Garden, and this is just stitched on what I assume is 14 count Aida. Not entirely sure, but I think it's just what came with the kit. Yeah, it doesn't mention on here what size Aida comes. Yeah, yes it does, just kidding. 14 count ivory Aida. So that is what came with the kit on this, and I love it. It's been really fun. I've been stitching this the last couple of days and I've really been loving it. I also, since the pattern is so old and worn, there's some areas on this too where I'm like, I have no idea what symbol that's supposed to be. So I scanned it into the computer and blew up the PDF and was like marking it on the computer and, you know, trying really hard just so that it doesn't get lost over the years, or depending on how long it takes me to finish, just like where the pattern's been folded a lot, or there's a couple little rips, so it's like a guessing game of what color is supposed to go there. Next, I have my Maloka Maloka Designs Free Sal that I've been working on. And this is a mystery stitch along, and as of today I'm caught up, but I haven't been caught up for until last night. I think I got caught up, maybe the night before. And I commented on Bridgen's picture, I think a couple of days ago on Instagram, the Museum Stitcher, and she was talking about one of her sales, I forget which one it was, but she was talking about how she was behind on it, and I told her that I started using the phrase manageably behind on my sal because when I was working on it, I was on part 3 of 4, and so it's like, yes, I was behind, but I wasn't so far behind that it was impossible for me to get caught up, but I still had that kind of internal fight with myself of oh, I wish I was caught up on it, but it doesn't really matter, but whatever. So manageably behind is the new saying, if anyone else wants to use it, of you're not necessarily on track with your sal, but you're not starting from the very beginning, which is also fine to join late and be at the beginning, but if you want to just feel a little better about it, feel free to use that along with me. I don't have a picture of this because it's a mystery sal, but I am done with the first 4 parts. She's looking so cute. I still think it's some kind of chipmunk. And the 4th part was really small. It was just the head here and the very top of the tail. So it was pretty manageable to get caught up with. And this is on 14 count pink Aida that I had in my stash. And I love it. Super fun. Again, I hope you guys can see the fun colors that are on here. If you're interested in stitching along, this is a free stitch along, and it's run through the Maloka Designs Facebook group. And there's more information about it on her website and newsletter, and you're still able to join. The last 2 parts, I think part 5 is this week, and then part 6 is in 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. But after all of the parts are released and the finished design is revealed, all of the PDFs are going to be taken offline. So if you want to join or think you may want to stitch this eventually, join now, get the PDFs and save them, so that you have the opportunity to, if you decide to down the road. Yeah, so that's the Maloka Free Design Sale, and I think the hashtag for that is #Maloka Free Sale, but I'll have to double check. I also worked on Summer Symphony, which is my full coverage piece, and I think I mentioned last time I just have not been in the mood to pull this out. but I got a lot of work done on it. So here is the full picture. The glare from the window today is not the vibe. But it's a beautiful little house with flowers and trees and stuff around it. So this is a Bucilla kit that I got, had in my stash for a long time. And I'll show you guys where I'm at. I'm calling this page 2, but it's basically just like based on where I was folding the big pattern. So it's not exactly like even per page. But I was working down here on the bottom. So this is the part I worked on here. And then this is the full picture. I love it. It's on 14 count white Aida, and I am using the parking method on this. And I'm working in vertical columns and just doing one 10 by 10 square at a time. I thought about switching it up when I started this new page of doing like trying Royal Rose or something, because I've heard a little bit more about that in Flosstube recently, but it was working for me so far, so I didn't want to change it up like in the middle of the piece, just because I had so many park threads on there already. I was like, I just want to keep doing it how I'm doing it, and maybe next time we'll switch it up and try something new. So that is Summer Symphony, and like I said, 14 count white Aida. Let's see if this pattern will go back in here. This is not in an Amazon product bag, it's in an old linen bag, like from Sheets or something. All right, 2 more WIPs to show you guys. I think this is the most I've ever done in like a 2-week span or from video to video. This is my Love Bug sampler from Sprouting Lupine. This I have a picture for. So this is what it looks like. I bought this on Etsy from Sprouting Lupine, super, super cute. And I'm doing my own purple conversion for this. And this is actually part of a stitch along that Marjorie from Marjorie Made started. And that was back in December. And like I said, I'm doing a purple conversion. So I'm stitching it on 32 count Sprite Lugana with just DMCs. And this is where, let me fold it a little bit. Every time I try to post this one on Instagram, the fabric shows up white in my photos or like gray. So I don't post about it that much, but I hope you guys can see it in the video that it's purple. But here's where we're at. I think since you guys last saw it, it's just been like this wing down here that I was working on. But it's super cute. This is my first linen project ever, so I love it. And I have this little strawberry needle minder that I made. And that is Lovebug Sal, or Lovebugs Sampler, hashtag Lovebug Sal. So, yes. Okay, and my last WIP is Calico House, and this is an old leaflet that I had in my stash. It comes with 2 colorways. I'm doing the blue one. So here's the color photo, or cover photo. And this doesn't look too different, but I did get some more work done in the grass. Move my needle minder out of the way. I am definitely, there you go. I got some work done in the grass, and this is just on 22 count Hardanger. And I don't know the exact color. It's like an off-white, ivory-ish color. It's very warm toned. And I was just working down here in the grass since you guys last saw it, chugging along. And everything I showed you is stitched 2 strands. Yeah, I haven't been mentioning that. Everything I showed you has been stitched with 2 strands. On the Aida, it's just over 1. On here, on the 32 count, it's 2/2. This one is 1/1. So 1 count, or 1 strand on the 22 count. So, yeah, that is all of my WIPs. Lots of progress. I was very, very excited to show you guys all of them. If you have any questions about my WIPs, feel free to ask them in the comments or DM me on Instagram. Or I made a Google Doc that I keep updated with all of the cover photos, pattern names, types of fabric I'm using, if there's any chart or conversions or anything like that that I'm using, I put all that on there, and that is linked in the description box, so feel free to check that out if you ever want to refer back to any of my WIPs or my recent finishes or something like that. It's all on there, and if it's not, just send me a message letting me know or asking whatever you need. I do have a little bit of haul from the last couple of weeks that I want to show you guys. The first thing you may have seen on my Instagram story, if you don't follow my cross stitch Instagram, it is Lemonade Stitching, and I showed this probably like last week. I went thrifting at a new antique store in Lexington that I hadn't been to before, and there was a ton of needlepoint there. It was also beautiful. I could not rescue all of it, but I did see this cross stitch piece that I had to rescue. She's gorgeous. I don't know what count it's on, but it's just some sort of like off-white linen, and it's just a beautiful little flower bouquet. It's about 14 by 12 with the finished size. It's just stapled onto a like cardboard thick stiff board. Not really sure exactly what it is, but it's gorgeous and I couldn't leave it, so I put up a poll asking if I should save it. But I was pretty sure I was going to save it even when I had posted that, so it's gorgeous. The initials on it are RM96, so if anyone knows, wouldn't that be so funny if someone knew who made this? But it's gorgeous. I think I'm going to frame it and put it up in my house. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Work was super busy this week. We had new resident orientation at the hospital that I'm working at, so very busy, couldn't get to it yet, but hoping to reframe this. I've been debating on if I should take it off the board and wash it. I'm thinking yes, because it's probably just dusty and dirty. You know, it's 20 years old. I'm 23, so this has to be 26 years old. Ish. Math is not working for me right now. But I'm sure it's dusty and dirty, so I'm thinking I'll take it off the board to wash. But haven't committed yet. I don't think it'll make a color difference, just get it a little refreshed. There's no smell or anything to it, which is nice, but before I frame it, I might as well clean it up and figure out where it's gonna go. And then the other stuff that I got, I mentioned I went to Keepsakes, and I got fabric while I was there. I purposely told myself I could not shop around. I went in with a purpose, and I told myself I was not gonna go shopping around looking at every single pattern, because then A, I would get overwhelmed, or B, I would spend more money than I needed to. And I just bought a couple of patterns off of Facebook group D-Stash, so those are arriving tomorrow. So I knew I wanted to get started on those, so I was like, I'm gonna go in, buy fabric for those specific projects, and that's it. I'll probably go back to Keepsakes sometime in July or around my birthday at the beginning of August, so if I want to buy a new pattern then or something, we'll do it then, but I wanted to limit myself. So the two patterns I got, I guess I'll show those first. I'll put up a picture. The first one is Autumn in the City, and super cute. I love it. The designer is a French name that I don't want to butcher, so I'll just put it up on the screen. But I actually found the patterns on her Etsy shop after I found them on the D-Stash group, because I wanted to get a better look at them and see what kind of fabric I called for and stuff. So I'll put up like the nice picture of it. But I thought this was super cute. She also has some that are like different seasons in the city, you know, so similar sampler vibe, just different themes. And then from the same designer, I also got her monthly monthly series. I bought the whole set, so I'll put up those pictures. They're super cute. They have little animals and like, I don't know if they're bird houses or just regular houses, but I really liked those for the months. And if you guys saw my last video, I wanted to make some monthly pieces to go on my desk at work. I was gonna finish them on like a stiff board with magnets and put them up on my, like the magnetic part of my desk, so that, you know, it's a little decoration. So very excited about those. And like I said, they should be arriving tomorrow, and I have the fabric ready to go. So, the ladies at Keepsake were so nice. I think it was Lenny that was helping me. I apologize if I'm wrong. But regardless, everyone was so, so sweet. Barbara even remembered me and my boyfriend, like, from when we were there in December. She's like, oh, you guys are back. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't been here in months, but yes. So it was really sweet. So I got 2 different fabrics. First, I got a 32 taupe, I cannot speak today, 32 count taupe Lugana. And this is for autumn in the city. And it's just a plain, natural colored fabric. Kind of a warm, darker tone. I really wanted to make sure all of the white would show up on here and any lighter oranges. So it's just a really pretty color. And this piece is 17 by 16. And it was like just enough. Lenny wanted me to have bigger borders, but I was like, I want this piece, so we're gonna make it fit on here. So yeah, so taupe Lugana, 32 count. And then there was actually like a little extra piece of fabric connected to this, like it had just been cut weird. And so I was like, I want to take that home too because it's just a little cut. So the extra piece came out to be 12 by 17. So it's just a little scrap piece that I can throw in my stash and use for something. And they were really sweet, and I don't know how big a regular fat quarter is, but they charged me for a fat quarter for both of these together, even though they're cut in 2 separate pieces, which was $35. As someone who hasn't bought a lot of fabric before, I think that might be helpful just for people who are getting into buying linen or just not super familiar with what prices are. Fat quarter was $35 for this linen. So if you're curious, I'd just like to share that. So yeah, so that was the first piece, Autumn in the City, and then I got an extra little stash piece to go along with it. And then the second piece I got is for the monthly series. I'm going to stitch them all on one piece of fabric. And this is a 32 count beautiful beige. I don't know if this is a Lugana or not. I don't have like the keepsakes tag for it. I just have the lined piece of paper showing how all my stuff is going to be laid out, which is really intimidating. I'm terrified of messing it up, but this is a half yard almost. So, oh, it's stapled together. Well, I don't need to hold up the whole thing in order to show you the color. So let me fold it back up. This is the color. It's similar to the taupe, but a little bit lighter, a slightly different shade. And this is for the monthly series. Again, I wanted to make sure that all the white would show up on whatever fabric I chose because there's a white border on every single month. There are a couple orange colors that I don't like, beigey light orange, that I'm not sure will show up on here, but I'll just figure that out when the time comes and switch them out for something that will show up. That was the hard part. Was I was gonna be in Cincinnati, which is, it's almost a 2-hour drive from my house keepsake, so I wanted to go while I was there, but I don't have the patterns yet with the DMC colors to like pull them and compare, so crossing my fingers and hoping it works out. But these are really nice neutrals that I think will be fine. So like I said, beautiful beige, also a 32 count linen, and this is a half yard. So Lenny was helping me do the math on the placement, and so each of the pieces are going to be about 4 by 4, and so we did a 2-inch border around the whole piece, and then I guess I'll just show you guys the picture actually, and then 3 inches vertically between each piece and 2 inches horizontally between each one. And so that way I can work on them all in one piece, and it'll save me fabric because they'll be kind of like sharing the borders while I'm putting them in my Q-snap or in my hoop or something. But I won't need that much border in order to finish them into just small finishes. So this is the picture that I'm going to be attempting to go off of when I stitch them. I'm terrified to mess it up, so we'll see how it goes. But the total size for this came out to be 24 by 25 inches, if I'm reading this right. About that, I don't know. Someone else can check math if they want, but whatever it was really, really close to a full half, or a half yard. Is a full half a word? Half? I don't know. Close to a half a yard of some sort of shape. So I told Barbara, just do the half yard. Again, I'll have a little bit extra for stash, or extra in case I mess up the placement on this inevitably. So that is what we're doing on there. And like I said, the monthly series are all going to be on here. And yeah, that is everything I have to show you guys. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I'm loving making Flosstube videos. I was nervous at first, you know, 6 months ago when I started, but the community on here is amazing. I love seeing everyone's videos and interacting with each other in the comments and on Instagram and stuff. So just thank you all so much. I love it. Just know every single comment and everything means so much to me. And yeah, like I think I mentioned earlier, follow me on Instagram if you want to connect that way. And I will see you guys in my next video.